Hello and welcome to another beautiful episode of Softline. I'm Nancy Banigo, and with me today I have will I say October guest? I have Sir Ekanabasi Ubong. He's a permanent secretary, Ministry of Education, retired he was, but I don't know, retired but not tired. So whenever it has to do with education matters, I'm sure you're still number one.
Yes. A passion.
Yes, a passion, right? It never dies. All right, so I want to open up this show with him today because I really want his input on something that has been trending online, and we've seen so many opinions on it. Gen Zs, like I always talk about Gen Zs because I don't know. So they've had so diverse opinion on this particular matter. So let's get to hear from our guests today. Many of you know, what's his name again? A popular comedian. He was a comedian. His name just skipped my mind, but he said something. Recently, he went for a surgery to modify his facial looks. He had some nose job done, his lips and his jawlines, he had to modify all these things. And people have been castigating him, saying, as a man, why do you have to go under the knife? As if it's just women that should go under the knife for beauty reasons. And so he came out yesterday to say that he had reasons for doing that he was rejected twice from a workplace, a job he worked so hard, to get, that he almost, in fact, he got the job, but he was rejected just because of his facial looks. That he had a big dose. One was customer service job, and then when they rejected him, they told him to his face that his face is not good for customers. And that made him feel so bad. And there was another job again that he lost, and somebody had to call him and say, boy, if you know what you go do, just spend money, treat your pimples, adjust your face, do yourself good, and you will get this job. And this pushed him to go under the knife. And he's saying the society now is superficial. So everybody, if you have to adjust one part of your body, to make you acceptable in the society, you just do it. All right. So we have Esther joining us. Esther, how are you doing?
I'm good, Nancy.
All right. So before you came in, I talked about the skit maker, Zik Saloma, on his facial, what they call it, job that he did. Sir, you remember? I talked about it. So what's your take on this trend of people trying to modify themselves just to fit into societal, what they call it, definition of beauty?
I think it's a matter of course. First, I would say change.
Oh.
Once we transited after the Second War into the industrial age,
Okay.
As machines took over, became more prominent in human life, we began to lose our humanity. But at that point, it would not be very noticeable. But as we keep on growing in that direction, following that trajectory, it's just a matter of course. It's not a new thing. Michael Jackson was so accused, although a lot of people did not understand that. Actually had a lot of skin challenges. He went through multiple surgeries in order to be able to present the picture of what the society would like. So I think it's just a matter of course. I once had a conversation in which I talked about the dominance of intelligences in the workplace. And I said, artificial intelligence is coming to take the most dominant place. But we also have emotional intelligence. That will focus on our humanity. But we talk less about emotional intelligence. Everybody is talking about AI now. So it's a matter of course that we will continue to lose our humanity as we emphasize more on make-believe, appearances, and all of that. Take a look at a common thing that we see every day. Young people, the Gen Z, they want to go for photo shoots for every birthday. Look at the background. They will go to a very expensive hotel, actually pay for it, and then take those photographs.
Just for those photographs?
Yes. For the slave queens, there is no photograph in an environment that is not defined or doesn't define what impression they want to create. So this is just a matter of course they change, but I think it's very unfortunate because the more we lose our humanity, the more we lose the essence of life and living.
Wow. Wow. Esther, you want to comment?
It's quite sad because, we have defined, like you said, beauty standards. That's where you also see ladies who go for liposuction, wanting to
BBL.
tuck their tummy, BBL,
Absolutely.
and all of those, just to fit the societal definition of what a woman or a model should look like. Forgetting that God made us unique. Each and every one of us was created exactly the way He wants us to be. Right? With emphasis on living healthy, not necessarily modifying any part of our body just to make some persons accept you. Now, nobody talks about the aftermath, the future, the adverse effect those things are going to have on these persons undertaking these surgeries. And you find that today they are in the spotlight, they have the resources to sponsor themselves under the knife, but 10, 20 years down the line, will they still be able to afford the cost of maintaining
those
or going the surgeries and all of that?
Okay, so we delve straight into our main discussion. So as Nelson Mandela said, the true character of a society is revealed in how it treats its teachers. I had to emphasize that, in how it treats its teachers. So today we are honored to have a special guest, a retired permanent secretary from the Ministry of Education in Akwa Ibom State, Sir Ekanabasi Ubong, retired, to discuss the heartbeat of our education system, the teachers. So join us as we explore teachers, a labor of love. Sir, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So that word, teachers, labor of love, now brings me to that question, what really made you join the educational sector?
Now, I think I want to be very honest here. Should I say my poverty?
Wow.
My poverty. But when I look back now, I think I have no regrets whatsoever. I would have preferred to be a civil servant. Because of certain experiences I had, I came from that background. My father was a civil servant, and so to say, I was trained for that. I read the humanities, and it was really the area I was interested in. But I came back from my service. I did not have who to push me in that direction. The teaching job was available.
Wow.
It would just absorb everybody, 100%.
Yeah.
And so I went in there, and 35 years later, by 2016, here we are. I have spent my entire life, 14 years, teaching in the secondary school. I had spent 1 year during my youth service as a co-lecturer, the Federal College of Education. So I've had experience as a teacher at the tertiary level. I now spent 14 years in the post-primary institutions, in the classroom. Then I spent the rest of my service doing educational administration in primary schools, basic education, and then my final years in secondary education, and then I ended up as a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education.
Wow.
So I discovered that I have found myself here. I was trained to do things with passion. And I found that the job just sucked me in. It sucked me in. And it's such an enlivening thing to relate with children. It keeps you young. If you have a positive attitude to it, you can just, like a good marketer, just sit back and look at what you have to market. And imagine how you can have such a dominant share of the market just in your mind and begin to work towards it. So here you are, a raw material is given to you. A child comes, I think educationists say the mind of a person that is born is a tabula rasa, is a clean slate. In the course of learning, experiences, socialization, he or she gets, to get impression, get information, get socialized to become the man of the future, or who is prepared to contribute to society. So I just got sucked in. I remember an incident. a childhood friend who was a professional teacher came to the school where I was teaching. And he saw me preparing instructional materials, which I did for every lesson.
Okay.
Unfortunately, a lot of professional teachers don't bother about that.
Wow.
But I would prepare instructional materials for all of my lessons. I would do my notes of lesson. I would go in and teach. I would come out. I will fast for my children to do well in the examination. I will pray for them. I will relate with them at a very personal level. Sit with them in the dormitories, sit with them in the playgrounds, relate with them to the family, and all of that. So I just became sucked in. I found myself doing what I thought could, in the final analysis, be the greatest contribution that I could make in my life. And I think that I was not wrong at all.
And I'm glad you said no regret.
No
So
regrets.
because the way you're saying this with so much passion, so even if you come in another world, I'm sure you will still told that line.
I think I will.
You will still told the
I
line,
think
right?
I will. I am a professional HR manager, but you know my area of core competence is learning and development.
Yeah.
It's training. Deliberately choose that because it's that area of practice that I can express myself in socializing people, training people, in developing people.
All right, Esther. Because I have a whole lot of questions for him. So
Wow, that really resonates deeply. Yes, and I particularly am in love with the topic, teaching, labor of love, right? So through your years in education, I know you must have been met with certain obstacles trying to discharge your career. Was there any point in time where you felt really discouraged, like it wasn't paying well enough, it wasn't footing the bills the way it should as a family man? You saw maybe your other colleagues or classmates back in the university doing better in other sectors and you were tempted to quit. Was there any such time, and how did you navigate those pressures when they come?
I think I was brought up in Nigeria at the time where to be a teacher was considered to be a curse.
Wow.
Salaries were not paid in time, always several months behind. Nobody was really interested. Everybody said, a teacher's reward is in heaven.
yeah.
You are familiar with that cliche.
Yes, sir.
The teacher's reward is in heaven. And it got so bad that some young people who could not take it left. But I actually never considered. I never got to that point where I became so dissatisfied that I considered leaving the job. I think I somehow mirrored the experiences of other people. You know, my mother was a teacher,
Okay.
a professional teacher, and you will see her passion. She will remark about a few things that are not right and not in place, but she will still do the work with the same level of commitment. And so when I came out, I had family resources I could fall back to. So there was never a time, and I came into the service as a graduate teacher.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, the salaries that we were paid, it was sufficient.
At that time.
Yes, at that time, yes. Money had value. It was sufficient. I could pay my bills. I could do the things that I needed to do. Where there would have been challenges, family income, income from family business or property will supplement. So when I considered the idea of leaving the classroom, never because I was very discouraged. I know a lot of people did. I have a classmate living next door. All of them in a school, I think about 7 of them. They just said, looking at the future, there is nothing in this for us. There's nothing in this for us. So we better just step aside and look for what
Secure
to do.
our future.
Yes.
All right, I see you go through all this, and just because it's from the mind, it's your passion, there was no time that you had any regrets for it. But looking at the present time now, with teachers, we have the condition teachers, facing nowadays. Every day we hear teachers complaining, salaries this, welfare this. What do you think can be done to help teachers, to empower them, to be able to, do their best when it comes to teaching?
Some of the things that I would suggest will not be trying to deal with the symptoms. I consider that we needed to professionalize education practice. And I think that has been done. The federal government has set up the Teachers Registration Council. So you have to be registered to practice. If you practice without a license, it's an offense, punishable by certain fines. So that has been done. And I believe that we still need to drive that further, to lay emphasis on a program of learning and development that ensures that the teacher continues to learn throughout dependency of his professional practice. I believe it is very important. After we retired, we did a proposal. We call it a teacher's scheme of professional development and scheme of service. Teacher professional development. What we sought to do was to tie promotion in the service to professional development. In which case, you have to attend certain learning programs. It was very comprehensive. We wrote the module from Master 2 to level 17, Principal General. So you attend that training with a module that is provided. At the end of it, you do an examination. And that becomes part of the assessment for your promotion. In other words, you will not be permitted to have what is going on now, where a teacher just has a service tour. Promotion from level 8 to 9, you wait for 3 years, and then you are promoted. From 9 to 10, then from 16 to 17 is 4 years. Just waiting for the end of the service tour, then you are promoted. No, let's see how we can tie professional development to career progression in the service. And it is going to ensure that none of the teacher is out of depth. None of them will be in the service still using the same skills and competencies that they had 20 years ago to seek to address the problems of education now. You know, 21st century education is now very different from, yes, we had this rote learning whereby you try to transfer the content of one man's brain into another person. But now in the 21st century, you've got to develop skills of analysis, analytical thinking, collaboration, creativity, innovation, problem-solving skills, because that's what the society needs now. When you have skills, you solve problems. That is the value you take to the marketplace. You will bring back value.
So what level did this proposal get?
Well, it got to where it should be. It's now left for the government to adopt it as policy. We actually submitted to Ministry of Education. I think that was in 2017, quite a long time ago.
It's been a long time.
Yes, 2017. That's when we.
And so you think this will solve the problem, the challenges teachers face?
Yes, that is only one. That is more holistic.
Okay.
The others is that the teacher is always under pressure. What a teacher does touches on every family. It touches on every family. You will always have a pupil or a student. You will always have a teacher in every family or a teacher that teaches somebody in every family. The demand for teachers is very high. The statistics is that by 2025, UNICEF said Asia and much of sub-Saharan Africa would need about 52 million teachers to be able to meet the demand for teaching staff in schools. But sometimes beyond the expected number, 25 should be the standard class size, 30, nothing more than 40. But would you believe that in some schools you could have as much as 150 students in one class?
True.
You cannot have proper learning going on there. It's not possible. Because, for example, a teacher who is handling 150 students in English language or mathematics, where it is a requirement that you have to give assignment 2 to 3, at least one assignment. The standard thing should be at least 3 assignments on this subject every week. When you are teaching 5 streams, 5 times 150, and then you give one assignment, we probably will not be able to mark
At all. At all.
by the end of the term. So teachers are being overworked and underappreciated.
Now let's talk about that appreciation. What's your take on it? You say underappreciation. When you say underappreciation, what exactly do you mean? Let's hear it from somebody who has been in the system.
In real terms, I think that the salaries that are being paid to teachers is not, we have tried to address it, but seriously for what a teacher does, because he doesn't close from work. A teacher doesn't close from work. When he goes back home, he will be marking assignments. He will write notes of lessons. Sometimes he's doing special lessons for children. I did special lessons for my students all through my career, not for income. I never accepted money for it. I never got paid for it.
Wow.
In any case, those communities where I saved, I did not insist in saving in urban centers. I actually saved in some rural areas. Those parents would hardly be able to pay for fees or to provide anything. So when you talk about money for extra lessons, it's neither here nor there. So I couldn't that, but what I'm saying is that the teacher is overworked and underappreciated. We have to in place a reward system that is able not just to pay the bills of the teacher, but to incentivize him or her to be able to continue to give the services that is required of him. We have a special teacher salary scale, but considering the kind of job that teachers do, it doesn't go very far. It doesn't go very. But there have been changes. I went to train principals, I think about 3 weeks ago, and I arrived at the venue. I had actually suggested, please don't take the training of this high-level manpower, level 17 officers, principals general. Don't take it to the assembly hall of a secondary school. Take them to an environment that reflects their status in the service. Let's look for a training facility in a hotel. And they did. Quite a nice place. Okay. We arrived there. And the entire venue was packed. Parking lot. The entire parking lot was
filled with
all
cars?
manner of exotic cars.
Oh.
You could not say that. You could not say that in the past. So I do not know if any of the principals they came there who does not have a vehicle. All of them driving good cars.
Okay.
So there have actually been some progress made. But we need to
do more.
Yes, do more. In Japan, you know what? We were talking, Nelson Mandela said this on how the society treats its teachers. Do you know what happens in Japan? When a teacher gets into a venue, everybody rises up, including the prime minister.
Whoa. Absolutely.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
That is a society that appreciates
their teachers.
Yes, the signal role of teachers, in the society.
Now, why is it that here, sorry, Esther, why is it that we have a contrary view when it comes to teachers in Africa? I don't know if it's Africa generally or is it peculiar to Nigeria? We seem not to have this importance for teachers. Like, we just take a look at them like, he's a teacher.
Yes, I've actually had an experience, Nancy, to give perspective to that, where I was in a room with some professionals in the oil and gas and here and there, and we actually introduce ourselves, like a family get-together. So I asked, my name is Nancy, I'm a broadcaster, everyone claps. So my name is Issa, I work with NLNG, everyone claps. When it got to my turn, my name is Queen Esther, I'm a teacher. The applause wasn't even, it was like they just passed me quickly and moved on to the next person. So, but for the fact that I was passionate and very proud of education, I could have felt very bad that day. But it didn't matter to me anyway, sir. So,
why that?
I don't know. I think maybe we lost it somewhere along the line. Because when the profession started in this nation, the teachers, they provided leadership in everything. They were the resource persons. They were the counselors to the village council. They were the counselors to the village leadership. They were the people who determined the tone of even life within the family. They were the elites. For many in the community, it is from a teacher's house that you perceive the savor of a stew.
Wow.
In many communities. So we started very well. But over time, as educational services became more demanded and government took over management of education, took over institutions, educational institutions. You were now dealing with a large number of people. And because the funding did not match the demands for the services provided, for the inputs that were necessary, one of the first things that suffered was the reward system for the teachers.
Okay.
And so a teacher became a laughing stock. In fact, there is this very funny story that one of my friends used to tell until I told him that I wasn't too comfortable about that.
Okay.
The story is that there was a king had a monkey, and they discovered that the monkey refused to laugh. So the king said, whoever would make the monkey laugh would be rewarded handsomely. So many people went and they tried to make the monkey laugh, and the monkey didn't laugh. And then one person said he could do it. So he now went and whispered in the ear of the monkey.
Oh, the monkey.
I am a teacher. And the monkey started laughing.
Oh, really?
Then he said, this is what I'm paid. And the monkey started crying.
Oh.
Then finally he said to the monkey, and you are going to be a teacher. The monkey just broke loose and disappeared. So somewhere along the line we lost it. Because how do you have a man who is supposed to provide that quality of service, who is not being paid, and he has to go from this buyer, this seller, this vendor, this grocer, trying to get what to survive till the next month, and yet he's giving service. So who wants to get into that kind of profession? Nobody. So I believe that is when we lost it. But a few private individuals are beginning to get a hold on it.
Okay.
And I hope that government can also follow suit and really begin to do something. I think that there is what I would consider to be an irreducible minimum. If a teacher works for 30 days, pay him. Go beyond basic payment and propose value.
Yeah.
What makes you engage the hearts of employees is the value proposition. This is my salary. If you tell me at the end of the year, I'm going to pay you a leave grant for going to leave, that is value that you are proposing. If you tell me every 3 years or every year you are going to go on training, you travel outside of your base, you get duty to allowance, you get these allowances, go do training and come back. That's another value that you're proposing. If you tell me we will provide school buses, or I will give you a car loan to buy a car, you are proposing value now. Those are the things that cause the heart to be engaged. Beyond salary. We ought to be looking beyond salary and see how we can begin to propose value that will begin to engage the hearts of teachers. It is really needful now. So if government begins to consider that, I think that we'll go in the right direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the fact that I would like to know who exactly is a good teacher. You know, in a world now where we have teaching as the available option, like you don't have any other option, this is available, just go into it. And then you come out and you call yourself a teacher. Who exactly is a teacher?
Well, good news. I think about 3 to 4 to 5 years before my retirement from service, I noticed that when we go for promotion interview, we'll find a body of young men very well dressed, turn out in good suits, and they showing the kind of passion I would not expect from young people of their age in teaching. So I would ask, what did you come in with? Oh, I come in with the single honors. I came with the single honors physics, single honors chemistry, single honors English language. No, I came in with mass communication. I just read French or read languages and linguistics without any professional training as a teacher. But having come to know that I need that as a requisite to practice the profession, I have gone to do my PGD. Oga, I am going to stay in this job. And blew me off. So you now have a group of very passionate young men and women who are actually interested, in practicing it as a teacher. So who is a good teacher? Number one, I think that for me, at the top of the list, I will have passion, the ability to see teaching not as a job, but as a vocation. Okay. A vocation is like a divine call. It demands from me commitment beyond services that is provided for pay. So at the top of the list, I will put passion. The second thing I would say, nobody who is not a professional teacher should be allowed to teach. Because no matter how passionate you are, you will still not be able to provide the kind of services a professional should be able to provide. So a good teacher should be passionate about the work, should be well trained, should be mindful of his professional ethics, should show beyond commitment. I talked about engagement. You can give incentive to somebody, but at the end of the day, the incentive is actually reward for a certain task. It does not sustain interest that produces the kind of passion that we are talking about. It is motivation, which is an internal condition that encourages a man to own, take even responsibilities are not given, make commitment beyond what is required for him to what the service directly requires. Not just in the place of work because it pays my bills, but a commitment beyond that. So a good teacher is one who is passionate about it, about the job, is a professional in every respect of it. He minds professional ethics and has a commitment not to the system, but to the child. You know that a good teacher teaches not the children, a good teacher teaches the child. It means that when you get into the teaching learning situation, the emphasis will not just be on a group of people, but you know that you need to pay attention to the needs and the demands of every individual child. Because every learner that is presented to you, they are peculiar human beings. There are those who are fast learners, there are those who are slow learners. And when you get into teaching, you have to discriminate between the slow learners, the fast learners, those who need special attention. So for me, that is what I would, that is how I would
describe a good teacher.
A good teacher.
All right. Esther, come in because I'm still going to be coming.
All right. Wow. So, sir, do you think the government is doing enough in terms of policy formulation? Recently the curriculum has just been revised, and as we speak, we've made several calls to the Ministry of Education right here, requesting to have hard copies of the revised curriculum, and they've kept us on hold since before school resumes till now. They haven't received it. Again, we noticed in the country that cutoff to get into the tertiary institutions varies across different geopolitical zones. Now, for some parts of the country, it is very, very low, ridiculously low. Now, these learners are absorbed into institutions of learning, and there they pose a serious challenge to teachers, making the work more tedious, harder. Some, the attitude towards learning is very poor. What's your take on this?
Well, I do not think that Nigeria has been doing too badly in the area of policy.
Okay.
The challenge actually is how much of the policy that we put in place, is being implemented and being implemented properly. For me, that is one of the challenges. But taking a look at the curriculum, particularly that you have just mentioned, I still believe that we need a very radical review of the curriculum and to produce a curriculum which is more relevant to the needs and the challenges of our society.
Okay.
This is what happens when government notices that there is a challenge in a certain area. They should review the curriculum to ensure that skills, new competencies, are achieved at the end of the learning process in order to be able to address that national problem. That is number one. Two, as the economy changes, and you will discover that you need new skills, new competencies for life and for living itself. The curriculum should immediately be reviewed to ensure that those skills are made available to the learner, so that at the end of the day, he or she will be able to function very well in the society. A situation where actually some of the skills that we are learning in schools do not relate to the challenges. The problems that we have.
Even with the new curriculum, because I see new
I am
skills.
telling you, I have a friend that I did not see them for a long time. When I now saw the kids, I was very glad. And I asked the kids, where are you? What's going on? Where are you schooling now? And the young man looked at me. He said, they are not in school. He said, why? He said the father said there's no need for them to go to school, waste time to go and learn binary numbers, learn about Christopher Columbus discovering America, things that are irrelevant to life and all that. Very radical action. The entire treaty, I know the wife did not really agree with the husband, but he withdrew the children from school. And they then come back and you learn the computer, learn classical music, learn these skills in the home. And but what does that say? What it says is that often the curriculum that we have in use, is actually inadequate to address the challenges and the problems of society.
Absolutely.
We have a structure responsible for that, a National Education Research and Development Council. Maybe they have, let me say why perhaps Ministry of Education has not been able to. They review the curriculum and produce it, but they don't have enough copies.
Oh, yeah.
It may take a time span before those copies are available. And the state government does not have the copyright to print and distribute. So they have to wait until the council distributes the curriculum to the states, and then the states will begin to, distribute the curriculum to. But maybe if authorities want to be proactive, they can find ways of ensuring that the information is made available to the teacher. Because how do you have a curriculum that is in use and many years of the teacher doesn't have it? It doesn't reach the school.
When you just gave us the story of the friends you met and the way your friend withdrew the children from school, I was marveled because this is my husband's opinion. When it comes to school, sometimes the children come home with homeworks where they have to write how many states are in the United States of America, the first president of America. And my husband was okay. They asked you the first president of America. Do you know the first president of Nigeria? Can you tell how many local governments we have in Nigeria? Schools these days, I don't know. They tend to leave home and want to teach these children. So I think this father is not alone in that light, but it's just that so many persons are afraid to toe that line. But it's actually in the minds of a whole lot of parents to do that. I
think it's amazing. Homeschooling will be on the increase. I would not mind at all. Honestly. With the nature of work now, with the development in the world of work now,
I think so.
There are many teachers in Nigeria who are teaching pupils, students in the US, in the UK.
Online.
They are here.
A whole lot of them.
Yes. So why must we? I think a parent can select the kind of information, the kind of skills they want to expose the children to. But about the issue of knowing who is an American president, who is not, which is actually totally irrelevant, is for those schools that have adopted. You see some schools, they say British schools, American schools, using British curriculum. It is lack of regulation because I do not think the government should permit those things. They're totally irrelevant.
I tell you. All right, so let's break it a little because we just have very few minutes to go. I want to talk on discipline. That's one area that many schools have been failing. In fact, my son told me some days ago that, well, no matter what we do, they don't discipline us in school. Because I was talking about hurrying them to go to school. And they were so, reluctant. Like, I said, if it was my days, if you go to school late, the flogging and the punishment you do, my mother need not tell you to wake up early and get. So these children are not so relaxed. And my son told me, because we don't get punished even if we come to school late. So I want to talk about discipline. The set of teachers we have in schools now, children do not respect them. What do you think is the problem? Somebody said it's a statue. We have a whole smallish teachers where the children are all taller than the teachers. Someone said, well, the teachers, because they don't get well paid, they tend to dress anyhow, and so they look so ordinary in front of these children. What's your take on this?
All of those are part of it. But I think that any educational institution where discipline is relegated to the background, in the final analysis, is going to affect the learning outcomes and the educational achievement of the children. I know some Ivy League secondary schools, private secondary schools that do not take any nonsense from the students or their pupils. They don't. You can't learn, come out as a whole man, educated and prepared for society without discipline. It is not just possible. So if you have that challenge anywhere, it needs to be addressed. I know that some of the factors may be responsible for the children not respecting teachers, issue of status. This is a teacher that has next to nothing. This is a child from a very rich and privileged home. Maybe the teacher is not well dressed. I don't know if schools still permit that. But I know that in government now, we have a code of dressing for teachers. And teachers don't dress poorly anymore. We have a code of dressing. We even have public schools who have corporate identity. You will wear a suit from Monday to Wednesday, the same color. The women will wear skirt suits. And maybe Thursday or Friday, you begin to dress down. Right. They insist on that. So that is beginning to be addressed. But I think that may be responsible for the lack of respect to teachers. But any school at all that does not make rules,
for the fear of losing customers.
The scripture says there's no law, there's no crime without the law. There is no crime without the law. Anybody can do anything. It is the law that now comes to define that this particular action is criminal. So when you don't have rules and you don't have a law, I think it's a very permissive society. I mean, final analysis will affect what the learners achieve at the end of the day.
Unfortunately, we have to go. We've exhausted our time, but I wish we could continue with this conversation. It's so nice having you on board today, Sir Ubong. I wish we had 1 more hour. But it's okay, we can call you another day. Thank you so much for your insights today, sir. Thank you so much. I don't know if you have one word for the teachers out there listening to you today, some words of encouragement or some words of advice.
For the teachers, there's a place of honor for every hardworking teacher. And I believe there's a reward. I tell people I'm an example. There's a place of honor for every teacher. I think it was Christopher the Great who said, "My father gave me the gift of life. My teacher, the art of living."
Wow.
And he said, "I consider the later to be more important because the first was one action The second, or the last one, is a series of action that determines my future and everything.
Wow.
And Henry Adams, an American historian, said, a teacher's influence reaches eternity.
Wow.
You can never say where his influence stops.
Wow.
What you do today to a child will have impact on him and the society many, many, many years beyond even the life of that teacher. So for teachers, please keep doing the job, keep being passionate, keep sowing into the society. There's always a reward for teachers.
Thank you so much, sir. And that's a wrap. Today's discussion has shown us that teaching is indeed a labor of love. A huge thanks to our amazing guests for sharing his insights and experience with us today. And to our wonderful viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. So from all of us in the studios, bye-bye, and thanks for watching.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.